Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kira and today we're tackling the question, should you really be using oil pastels in adult colouring? Personally, I've never used oil pastels in my colouring books before. However, I've noticed a growing trend among colourists on Instagram and Pinterest who are showcasing some stunning pages using this medium. And while their results are impressive, I have to admit, I'm still really skeptical. So in today's video, we're putting oil pastels to the test. We'll explore a few different blending techniques and test them out on a variety of backgrounds to determine if I'd personally recommend them for adult colouring. The set I'll be working with today are the Rubens 72 Colors Haiya Oil Pastels. And these pastels come with some pretty bold claims, including being super soft and creamy for a really great blending experience, and also featuring a bullet-shaped tip so it makes your drawing and colouring more comfortable. To start, I used the blank swatch chart that came within the packaging to test out all of the 72 colours. And right away, I did notice that these claims were pretty accurate. Some colours did feel softer and creamier than others, but that's pretty standard because some pigments are harder to formulate with the same smooth consistency across the board. But overall, I do think their vibrancy and texture are pretty impressive. Now that we've gotten as familiar as we can with the Rubens oil pastels, it's time to test out a few different mediums and tools to see how we can blend them out on our colouring pages. So before diving into any of the pages today, I wanted to test out 6 different blending tools and methods to see how they performed. The first method I tried was simply blending using the oil pastels themselves. As you can see here, I'm just overlapping the different pastel colours to create a gradient, and this worked pretty well. The only issue I ran into was that the lightest colour picked up some pigment from the middle shade, so that's definitely something to keep in mind if you plan to use this method in the future. The second method is one that all of us quite literally have on hand: your finger. I feel like this is the go-to way most people blend pastels, and honestly, it's a solid method. But let me tell you, it is very messy. You don't want to even know how many times I had to wash my hands while filming this video, even for methods that didn't involve my fingers. It's just a very messy medium. For the third method, I used a Q-tip or a earbud, cotton bud, whatever you want to call it. Apologies in advance for my camera refusing to focus during this part. But this method felt better suited for blending smaller details rather than larger areas. It's a bit tedious for big gradients, and it's tricky to avoid leaving visible circular marks from blending. Still, I think it is a handy option for detail work. The fourth method involved blending with a tissue. This did a decent job of smoothing the pastels together, but it also removed quite a bit of the pigment from the page. So if you're aiming for a more subtle and slightly textured effect, a tissue might be the way to go. For the fifth method, I decided to get a bit experimental and used one of those silicone brushes I bought a few months ago for applying masking fluid. Surprisingly, the result was better than I expected. It's definitely not perfect, but much like the Q-tip, it's a great option for blending smaller areas without the tool absorbing any pigment. And finally, the sixth method, the one I was most excited to try, was using mini ink blending brushes. This was the only tool I specifically bought for this video, and I'd heard great things about it from Shelley over at Shell's Colouring Journey. She swears by this method, and I can see why. It's very different from the other tools. It creates a beautiful, soft pastel effect, or even a distressed ink kind of vibe. So there you have it, all 6 blending methods tried and tested. Going into this, I thought I'd figure out a clear favourite to use throughout the video, but I actually ended up using all but one of these methods while working on my pages in this video, so they definitely all came in handy. Now it's time to actually put these oil pastels to work in some of my adult colouring books. So after scrolling through the ever informative Pinterest, I've picked out 3 pictures that are going to act as my inspiration for our oil pastel experiments. The first seems fairly simple and the least intimidating to me, and it is this page here done by the Instagram account @SiskaDiner. While I'm 99% sure that this background wasn't actually created using oil pastels, I think I can achieve a similar vibe with them. The page we'll be using to recreate this background is from World of Flowers by Johanna Basford. Now, I actually wanted to do something a little bit experimental for this first background, which why I'm doing this for my first time colouring with oil pastels is beyond me, but I wanted to try having a base of acrylic marker to layer the oil pastel on top of. The first thing I did was mask off a border because if you know me, I avoid colouring to the edge of my pages wherever possible, and then I decided to sketch out a rough heart-shaped border within the edges of the illustration. I only wanted to colour with my acrylic marker to a certain point to create a distinct heart shape on the page. So this outline is simply acting as my guide when colouring with the acrylic. For the base, I used a mauvey pink Artex Simtap marker. I did have to do 2 layers to remove the streakiness of the marker. For the first layer, I kept my strokes in a vertical direction, and for the second layer, I switched to horizontal strokes. Once I was happy with the acrylic base, it was time to see how the oil pastel would layer on top. I used the ink blending brush to create a vignette for the background, and it actually worked decently well. It didn't blend as smoothly as it might have if I'd applied the pastel directly to the paper, but I wanted a strong opaque background, and I think the acrylic marker base really did help achieve that. Then came what I considered the most fun part, applying the little white and green oil pastel details. I believe the effect the original colorist was going for was almost a falling leaf vibe, which I think will look really effective once I've colored the floral foreground of this illustration. To achieve this effect, I used a twisting and flicking motion with the oil pastel, varying the size of the strokes as much as possible. Once I was happy with all the white details, I then repeated the process with green. It was really satisfying layering the green embellishments over the white and seeing the 2 pigments mix at certain points on the page. As you might have noticed in the inspiration picture, the colorist created a blurring effect with these extra embellishments as they faded toward the edge of the background. So I decided to replicate that effect by smudging some of the details with a Q-tip, focusing on smudging those details closest to the edge of the paper. Now, one of my biggest concerns when I started thinking about using oil pastels in my adult colouring books was figuring out how to set them. You can buy an oil pastel fixative spray, but it's pretty expensive and can have some really intense fumes. Instead, I decided to try what a lot of colorists on YouTube have been using lately, an acrylic medium. I used a large flat brush for this step and tried to apply as little medium as possible. In retrospect, I realised I should have kept the masking tape in place until afterwards, as some of the oil pastel dragged into the masked off area where I wasn't precise enough. And to ease my worries even more, I went off camera and sprayed the page with some workable fixative to ensure the oil pastel would not go anywhere. Even though I did use a matte medium to set the pastels in place, it still dried with a slight sheen. I think this is mainly due to the acrylic medium and oil pastel mixing together. I don't mind this look as it gives the background an almost metallic quality, and honestly, I'd rather have this effect than risk the oil pastel transferring to the opposite page. For the second page, I'll be drawing inspiration from this picture here. Unfortunately, I couldn't track down the original creator to give them credit, but I have been wanting to create a Northern Lights inspired background for months now. I just haven't been sure which medium to use in order to create it, so I'm hoping oil pastels will be my saving grace. And the page I'll be attempting this Northern Lights background for is from Maria Troll's Shooting Star. So guess what? I'm doing another acrylic marker base yet again. I probably wouldn't have if the background was plain, but I wanted to remove the shooting stars so the Northern Lights could be the focal point. I didn't worry about masking anything off for this page. Maybe I should have in retrospect, as I did go outside the lines here and there, but I think I managed to hide it fairly well. I'm basically doing the exact same thing I did for the previous background, one layer of acrylic marker with vertical strokes and a second layer with horizontal strokes. Now, I wanted to add just a tiny bit of dimension to the black because it was looking a bit flat, so I again used one of the ink blending brushes to add a bit of dark blue to the center. I knew this wasn't going to do much, but it just helped give the background a little more interest. Then came the actual Northern Lights part. I was absolutely terrified of doing this and decided the best plan was to apply the different pigments onto the page and drag the color out with my fingers. At the time, I thought doing one color at a time would be the most effective approach, but in hindsight, I think it would have been better to put all the colors onto the page and blend them at once. I don't know, that's just my hypothesis. It isn't a bad first attempt at a Northern Lights background, but I do think I've got a lot of room for improvement. I probably should have experimented more before trying it out on a page, but we all know I'm too impatient for that. Which reminds me, one of my subscribers commented on my last video and said they also prefer to go straight into a coloring page when learning a new medium. So what they do is color with the new medium on their least favorite page in a coloring book. I think this is a great idea because you don't risk ruining a page you're looking forward to coloring. You're also learning how to use the medium on the specific paper in the book, and it's also just another completed page at the end of the day. So yeah, I think this is a great approach if you're testing a new medium in one of your books, but I'll end my tangent there. After I finished the oil pastels portion of the background, I went ahead and set it in place with the matte acrylic medium and painted in the same direction as the oil pastel work. Once that dried, it was time to add a whole heap of white acrylic details. Instead of using an acrylic marker like I usually do, I decided to use actual acrylic paint. You know the pack of silicone brushes I showed you earlier? The smaller ones have a dotting tool on the other end in various sizes, so I used a variety of those to create a bunch of dotted stars on the page, as well as some shooting stars. And then to finish, I brought out my white Posca paint pen to draw additional embellishments that required a finer point. But yeah, as I said, I'm not in love with the background. It's not bad, but I think I can definitely improve in the future. Finally, we've reached the last page in this video, and this one is going to be a little bit more ambitious. I'm planning to use the oil pastels not only for the background, but also for part of the illustration itself. So here's my inspiration picture. Yet again, I unfortunately couldn't find the original creator to credit. And I want to take the water and sky elements from this inspiration drawing and apply them to the water and sky elements for this page here in Maria Troll's universe. Okay, this background ended up being very intricate to create, including the masking portion. What you see me doing here is tracing the elements on the page that I wanted to mask off onto the masking tape, cutting that shape out, and then re-adhering it to the page. I wanted to work on the sky portion first, so I masked off the mountains, the border, the ocean, the moon, and then got into the intricate oil pastel work. Okay, look, I'm probably being a little bit dramatic. It wasn't that intricate. It was more of a trial and error situation. So you'll see me go back and forth with different tools as well as different pastels, adding color, taking away color, basically just doing a whole lot of experimenting. For the sky, I went for a blue to purple gradient, and it's a little bit random, but I ended up using toilet paper to blend this out because I found a tissue was too delicate and ended up in shreds. However, quite a bit of the pigment came off onto it during blending, so I did do 2 layers to get a stronger color payoff. When it came to the clouds, I was very scared, but I just tried to take it one step at a time. I started off with a base layer of white, then added a mid-tone shade and a shadow shade. I found the best way to blend this out was by using a mix of the silicone brush and my finger. Then I just kept blending and adding more color here and there until I was happy with how the clouds looked. The easiest part of this page by far was the water. All I had to do was place some white pastel where I wanted the reflection to be, add a dark blue to the edges, a slightly lighter blue next to that, and smudge it all out in a horizontal motion with my finger. I really didn't have to do much more after that. If you were to take one technique from this video, I'd say that this is the one to remember and try it out yourself. I'll definitely be using oil pastels in the future to color water for my pages. It's just so quick, easy, and effective. I then went ahead and set it all in place before removing the masking tape this time, so there was no risk of the oil pastel dragging outside the border. And the only slight issue I encountered after removing the tape was that I obviously masked off a small section of the water on the right-hand side. I could have gone in afterward and fixed that up with some additional oil pastel, but I decided to leave it and will fix it up later when I color the rest of the illustration. There are also a few sections in the clouds where the line work is still visible, but yet again, I know I can easily fix this up later with some acrylic marker. So after spending all day working on these 3 backgrounds, do I really think you should be using oil pastels for adult coloring? I honestly think it depends on your preferences and coloring style. If you don't mind getting messy, enjoy working with your hands, and have a basic understanding of painting techniques in particular, oil pastels could be a fantastic tool for you. They allow you to create bold, vibrant backgrounds and speed up the process compared to colored pencils. However, if you're someone who prefers neat, detailed, and precise work, oil pastels might not be the right fit. They are inherently messy and require some adaptability to work effectively. So in summary, I think oil pastels are a great medium to consider adding to your adult coloring toolkit. They are vibrant, blend beautifully, and can be used to achieve unique effects. Whether they're right for you ultimately depends on your personal coloring style and preferences. Just remember to always set the pastel in place to protect your work. So there you have it, team. Those are my honest thoughts on using oil pastels for adult coloring. If you'd like to recreate any of these techniques or backgrounds that I showed you in this video, I will have the Paul Rubens set linked in the description below so you can purchase it yourself. And I also want to hear from all of you in the coloring community. If you've tried them, how do you feel about using oil pastels in your coloring books? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you somewhere in between? Let's chat about it. Until next time, happy coloring, friends. Have a good day, have a good life, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!